In a quiet little town in Belgium, the epic battle for honor and glory is about to unfold. Zemst is once again the heart of Europe's biggest curling league. With 29 teams from 8 mighty nations, the competition is heating up on the coldest surface known to man. The stage is set for a historical new chapter. Watch the epic unfolding of the new season. Will the reigning champion dominate the series? Or will N19 rise up and revive old glory? Are the Tigers the dangerous outsiders? Or could it be the desperate housekeepers? We welcome hard-sweeping power from the east, dazzling charm from the north, strategic battle plans from the south, and nerves of steel from the west. We're going to see devastating duck duels and rock-solid wisdom from Stone Good. We may not have Canada's heroic Homan, Matt's badass Stars and Stripes, or a Swedish Viking princess like Anna. But our league forges its own legends. Meet the magician, Peekaboo Caro, the little general, Gatling Gun Tom, the GOAT, Mustache Man, and don't forget the Walter. We'll express our uncensored opinion. Celebrate only the very best of shots, and seduce you with our sweet voices. Because that is what we do. We simply love curling, and we are devoted to bring this exciting, roaring game out into the world.
What a play!
Hello, curling fans. Welcome into the Saturday night curling here on Curdia. We've got a mixed doubles matchup going tonight. Tim, my normal partner, out there on the ice with his wife, Annemiek, as Nyan Curl going up against Gary and Sabrina, also known as polar partners. Glad to have you guys all in tonight. I'm flying solo, as you see, so it's going to be an interesting experiment for me. It's been a while since I've done a solo broadcast, having to manage the cameras. The statistics might not be so accurate tonight. They weren't last night either, but fixed that problem, so we'll get into that. But the teams are out there warming up, doing their thing. You can kind of see behind me. Looks like they are finishing up, getting ready for their LSDs. I have no idea what's going to happen tonight. We've not seen much doubles action. A lot of times they push all of the doubles matches towards after the new year, since it's a year-long competition instead of split into 2 groups. So I have no idea what's going to happen. I know how good Annemiek and Pim are. I have played against Gary before. He is a very tough competitor in the fours as well as in the doubles. Sabrina is kind of the wild card. She's relatively new to curling. As far as I know, she only started last year and is only playing mixed doubles. So she's the wild card. You never know what you're going to get. Somebody comes in, they get a few lucky shots. They've got an odd way of throwing, but it gets the curl in. And yeah, we're going to see. I'm looking forward to it. You know, there's not many games since not many games have been played, there's not a whole lot going on with the standings. Plus, Pim didn't create the graphics for me, so I have no idea what the standings are. I know that my team, McMountain, we had a draw against SD Rocks, so we both have a point. Outside of that, I don't know. We do know, that's true, we know Vady has played. They're playing tonight. They'll be on the sheet, or maybe not. They were supposed to be playing tonight, but maybe they aren't. But they had an epic comeback against Way Too Wretchless. You know, down by a lot, needing 4 to win in the last end, and somehow coming away with it. It was an incredible matchup. Hoping for a bit more of the same here. Actually, we're talking by myself, because now I'm talking to myself and not getting Pim to like answer stuff for me. So I think the big thing to look out for tonight, the big keys are, how do the ladies play? You know, Pim and Gary have been playing for quite a while. Annemiek has also been playing for a few years, but she had about a 1.5-year break when she had the baby. One of the babies, or both babies, I guess she took some time off. Just getting back into it, so it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see how well she does, and also how well Sabrina does. And if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be a slight difference in setup as well. Sabrina throws first and last for polar partners, whereas and Gary will take the middle 3 stones. Where I think it's the opposite for Nyan curl. Pim will throw first and last, and then do the middle 3. But in doubles, you are allowed to mix things up. So let's see. You can see them. They are measuring right there, getting the final stone. I have no idea who is going to have the hammer. I didn't get a chance to see who was where on the how Nyan curl did. I was finishing some last minute touch-ups. So I am just as excited as you are to see what's going on, but yeah. Okay, so while we've got you here, don't forget our new feature. Is this one going to work? There it is. Go to vote.curdia.tv. We're testing this out right now in this first half of the season. We might make it into a permanent thing after the January break or the Christmas break, where you get to vote on who you think is going to win or what's the result of this match going to be. Remember, ties are possible in the Belgian Curling League. And at the end of the season, we might do a little prize, but your points carry over. So just like Pim and I do every match, we make a prognostication and we choose who we think's going to win. And right now, I am absolute poison to every team except for Team Verraken last night. I was a winner, but so was Pim. So I gained no points on him. I believe he's leading now 6-3 in our season-long competition. Yeah, I'm down bad, but. You guys can get in there, get your votes cast. The poll closes at the completion of the 4th end. So once the scoreboard ticks over to end number 5, it automatically shuts. No more votes allowed. So you've got a little time to see what's going on. I'm trying to look behind me and see what's going on there. Looks like they are getting things set up. Red will have the hammer, so that is Nyan curl. So I will get the scoreboard checked out, up to date. We will apply that. We will do this. As for my pick, I think I'm going to go with Polar Partners. They are the one I am the most familiar with. I have played against them. I've trained with Pim and Annemiek quite often. Since Gary and Sabrina, they're the unknowns, or Sabrina's the big unknown. I'm going to have to go with what I know. Don't forget your picks in, and I think they are getting ready to start. So why don't we hop on out to the ice. And I can get comfy here, figure out the controls, make sure I've got everything there. I'm now super paranoid that I'm completely unmiked. I think Pim has a microphone on, but not Annemiek, so we're going to swap that around. So we'll be able to hear Pim. He was supposed to put a microphone on Annemiek, but not, and now I'm noticing that something screwed up with the scoreboard, so we'll sort that out later.
That's not.
There we go. As Sabrina starts things out. Nice little draw here. Gary trying to curl that over. Oh, that's going to be a fantastic opening stone. That might have just gotten into the shot position. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
And Annemiek starting things off here. Trying to curl this one around, not quite turning as much as they like, a little bit on the heavy side. Going to carry past T.
It's te veel gewicht.
Decent position. Pim saying, hey, this is overswept, so we can always blame him. I think I might mute Pim. I think with only one person talking on the ice, it's going to be a bit confusing. So you can see quite a bit of rubble there in the middle. Gary, the left-hander, who's sliding out of the left hack. Coming up over this right side. Gary's going to have a bit of backing, so he can afford to be a little heavy, but this one looks tight. That's going to curl a little too much. Not heavy at all. Honestly, that's going to be quite light, but does kind of take away the draw path up on that left side, so now we can see what will Pim do here. Oh, and I do actually have it backward. Pim is throwing middle 3 stones, just like Gary. Oh well, for the evening, he will be Annemiek on the scoreboard. I don't have enough hands to change it all. Looks to be plenty of ice. Should be around that guard. Will that get by that yellow stone? Oh, that's fantastic. That's going to stop in right there on the tee. Perfect shot from Pim. Absolutely right where he wanted it. Now, there is a hit and roll possibility here, but I'm not sure they can get rid of all 3. But some of it will just be a matter of, do they start cleaning things up? That yellow at the top of the forefoot is sitting quite in the way of things. But you've got that long center guard that will kind of protect that one. So I don't think they're going to see much movement or much of an attempt at this. This one also feels on the lighter side. That's going to crash onto that center guard. Not really any damage there, but not what they wanted. Gary trying to figure out his weight is just not there at the moment. Pim, another opportunity to draw one in. Anything up on that right side. Either frozen against the other red, or even a little bit in front as a guard would be all right. Although that yellow one up front is preventing any multiples from scoring. This one quite a bit wider than the previous stones. And kind of comes up short, doesn't quite cover everything. However, I don't know that it's going to be easy for Gary to get something in there, although we look at it like this and you do have this, you have this line coming in here. They could kind of send something through and just kind of create some, open things up, clear things out of the back of the house. Going with some weight, trying to shoot through that gap. That is going to get through cleanly, picks out one, shoots it over, and oh wow, okay, good shot from Gary there, I like it. That will make things difficult for Pim and Annemiek here. That yellow pretty well covered up. Is sitting shot as we look at the overhead. Bring the overhead in. You can see that one is sitting there. The other two just outside of the forefoot. I think they're looking to see if they can get something through that gap on the left side, but I really don't think so.
Probeer leggen.
Yeah, just going to try to lay this one in there. Got to squeeze in between everything. It looks pretty good. We're going to bring this overhead in. Oh, but this is too heavy. Oh, it found the line. It just, unfortunately, a little bit too much weight, and that gets all the way through the back of the house. So, opportunity here for Polar Partners to get something in there. Anything just kind of closing up this hole right here would be ideal. Like top of the forefoot would be perfect. We can maybe get a better view of it over here. Yeah, something right about here would be ideal. That way they can score 2, and even it'd be difficult to take out 2. They don't want to leave anything up high because that can leave a double out. So Sabrina has her work cut out for her. Oh, I did not realize that Sabrina was also lefty. So we have the dual left-handers of Polar Partners. Feels quite wide. That one's going way out to the side. Not sure that one's going to come back. And to be honest, that's not a terrible miss for them. I mean, they would like to close up that hole, but it doesn't push anything in, doesn't cause any issues. So it's really now down to what? Oops, careful there, Sabrina. Don't fall down. Looking at the overhead, we can kind of see they're looking at this angle, bringing that in to try to knock that one out. They might lose it, but that's okay. They would still be able to score 2. I think that's their best bet of scoring multiple stones. There may be a very tight path through here, but I don't know that I would want to throw that. So here we go. Annemiek with the hammerstone here in the first end for Nyan Curl. Drawing against one or going against one. Steal one by Polar Partners possibility here. Looking to try to get rid of that yellow, knock it out of the forefoot. This one feels on the wide side. I just don't think that's going to come over. And unfortunately, that is a miss for Annemiek and a steal of 1 for Polar Partners. Good result for Polar Partners there to get something out. Try to, great shot from Gary to get that hit and roll, knock things away. Thought Gary was coming down to set up the stones, but no. He is ran inside to probably grab a coat. Probably a little bit chillier inside than he expected. We have an A-League match going over on Sheet C. We have Den Schroepkes out of the Netherlands going up against Belgium Steengoed. They are in starting end number 2. But no scores up on the scoreboard. We'll keep you up to date on that as it comes. Pim coming down to set up the stones. There we go. Ooh, it was a steal of 3 by Dunschrupkes in end number 1. So they lead it 3-0 over Staying Good in end number 2. Meanwhile here, Polar Partners with a steal of 1 in the first end. Taking a 1-0 lead over Nyan Curl. Sabrina will be starting things off for... Oh, I see why. There's a problem with the left hack. And as we have 2 left-handers, they will be using that hack. So technical timeout at the moment. Gary tries to fix this. Let's see, I can do this cam. Why don't we take a peek over what's going over on sheet as Pim comes to bother me. We can watch a little bit of the action going on over on sheet C. Dunschrupkes in the house already with 2. Playing in behind that center guard of Staying Good. Staying Good comes around the guard, trying to get behind the yellow. I think it's going to tap. Kind of opens things up, pulls up a little bit behind the guard. Gary's still fixing that that hack. Seems like he's got it ready to go. Quick little push test. Seems as if he is ready to go. Almost ready to go. We don't have a whole lot of left-handers here in the league, so often that if there was an issue with it before, no one would have noticed until a lefty played on it. And so now we have 2 left-handers on the same team in this game, so now somebody noticed it. So Sabrina with a little push off to test it, make sure it feels okay. I guess I could have switched the scoreboard around, or the names around. Let's see if I can't get the... They're probably going to change anyway, but let's try. And actually, they are switching it on me. Okay, so Sabrina starting things off here in end number 2. This one curling in nicely. Not gonna get down onto the pin. Oh, just a gorgeous opening there from Sabrina. Right there, perfect shots. Great way to open things up. Sabrina really putting the pressure on with these first First couple of stones. Whoops. Sorry, a little bit too hard on the zoom there. There we are. This one is going to over curl. No center line rule in mixed doubles. You are not allowed to take stones out in the first 5, but nothing against ticking it off the center line, so nothing lost there. Taking a look, trying to figure out what he wants to do. They are shot. That red in the bag is exposed, but you cannot take it out just yet, so figure he will probably just try to draw in up that side. Let's see what I'm seeing here. Just kind of come in along this side here. Feels a little bit tight, like this is gonna be on the center line, although if they let it go, it's gonna cross over, but that's gonna jam on the red there. Just kind of spread things out again. So not a terrible miss there. It actually kind of protects that yellow one a little bit, although there is now a straight run back for Annemiek or Pim to go after this one. Yeah, this one has some weight, trying to run it back, or even just clear open the middle will be good. That's going to peel, that is going to hit. Moves a bunch of stuff around, opens things up, and will that second one stay in the house? That is going to Swedish curl back in, and there we go. So fair result there from Pim, getting things open, getting access to that yellow, going to force Polar Partners to cover this up. Yeah, I expect to see just sort of a center line guard here. That feels tight to that center line. That's gonna be, it's probably gonna over curl. Might still leave it exposed. Wanting to let this one, as soon as it gets over the hog, just kind of let it die. That covers up that one pretty well. Still quite high, so I believe there's enough curl for them to come around and tap it. But they have that risk if they don't get the right line, they could end up taking theirs out of the back of the 4. Sabrina sees something over on sheet C. Another upweight shot for Pim. Just trying to peel this guard off. Even if it runs straight back, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, just gonna peel this one off. Keep it open. Force more hits or for more guards. Have Polar Partners leave stones up top, so if they miss something, then it'll give an opportunity for Nyan Curl to come in and try to take out that yellow. Now there is a potential for a hit and roll here. They could hit this one. That will take out that red and then roll back over here. They don't mind leaving that shot at the out in the open back there if they have something to cover it up or something covered up. Not a high percentage play though, so I would probably just leave it like this. If you're trying to steal, keep guards up there. Try to keep this center clogged up with as many stones as possible. Ooh. That one a little bit off center line. They'd like that probably a half a stone more to the right. Cover up that yellow a little bit. However, it brings that yellow gem onto the red if they try to take this one out. So it will be interesting to see what Pim does here with this. Must be a lower weight hit, like a hack weight. Might be able to sneak through this gap and take it out to the side and then roll over and get behind this yellow guard. This feels very wide for that weight. Yep, that is going to miss. And everybody was in the way on that one, so. But we didn't miss anything. Looking to peel off that guard. So now an opportunity for Polar Partners. Multiple options here. Saw Gary kind of saying we could swing something out here, but that doesn't give them shot. I think I like the other one they were looking at here. Get something in above the T line. Probably something right about here. Just better than this one in the back. Needs to be second shot, so any kind of draw weight or hit. However, that would leave a double. So it is something they have to pay attention to. Sabrina's thrown a couple of good draws here and so far this evening, so should be able to find her weight. Although this one feels a bit wide, and Gary is jumping on the broom right away, so he doesn't feel like it's got the weight to get down there. But that will settle in nicely as a guard that's going to take away that draw path over there. Now, Pim and Adamik looking at their options, and I think we look at the overhead. Yeah, I think you kind of have to look at attempts. Just have to get onto the inside edge of this one. It'll go away, and shooter should stay in there stay about there. The worst that could happen is if they catch it on the outside, they catch it here, it jams against the red, but I still think that red would be shot, so. Not too much risk with this. Not saying it's completely foolproof, but I believe they will have a decent chance at it. Oh, extra stone coming in from the other sheet. All right, here we go. Annemiek with the final stone here, hammer stone here in the second end. Looking to get rid of that yellow shot. Try to get 2 out of their hammer. Feels a bit on the tighter side. Nope, that's going to get through nicely. But that is going to jam, and unfortunately, shooter rolls away. Doesn't really change much, just a little bit heavy there. So that will be a score, another steal of 1 for Polar Partners. We'll jump out to a 2-0 lead over Nyan Curl. Just really tight both ways. Like Polar Partners doing just enough, get that first stone out there. Sabrina putting it on the pin nicely, getting it in a position, and then just defending it. And Nyan Curl unable to do much with it. So those of you who have not got your votes in yet, go vote, vote.curdia.tv. The poll will close at the completion of the 4th end. So as soon as the scoreboard ticks over to end number 5, the poll is closed. I now know a feature I need to add to that. Is so we can see who is doing what. And Sabrina starting things off. This one feels on the wide side, going to easily get around the guard. Will that curl over enough? They probably don't want it to. That's a little bit heavy. They wouldn't want to risk pushing out the reds. Pim's going to get back there and sweep it away. All right, so opportunity here for Annemiek. Try to get in there, get something else in there, get 2 stones into a good spot. I'm staying off. It feels a bit on the wide side. Gonna have to try to help this one over a bit. This is going to curl over, but I think it's going to stay out on the edge of the 4-foot. Maybe coming a little bit behind T. So creates a pocket there for Gary to come into. Now that is only stone number 4, so Polar Partners cannot take anything out yet, so they'll want to be careful. They can't just kind of fling it in with reckless abandon, but they can draw and know that they've got backing in there. Working on the snow plow, not quite as strong as a normal sweep, but it does do pretty good if you're just trying to control the weight. But this is going to be tight, chips off the guard, and then opens things up. So not a terrible miss for them, to be honest. And you don't have the hammer. You want to keep that center open. No, sorry, that's not true. Why does that always come to my head? No, they don't want that. They wanted to keep something there, keep something drawing behind. I think we're going to see Pim kind of put up a center guard, maybe top of the house, top of the 8-foot, top of 12-foot. Maybe slightly over to the left side. Touch on the tight side. That's going to over curling. That's going to get off the center line. May even be a little bit heavy. Yep, that's going to get over and run that one back. So just too heavy there. Doesn't really change, leaves a pocket for polar partners to kind of take both out. Now, looking at it from the overhead, there might be a gap to completely to shoot a stone through, but I bet that would be like the 1,000-to-1 shot on being able to hit that. And so I think Gary's just play off that left one, and it should kick over and hit the right, get both rid of both of them. Gonna hold this one straight. Feels like it's a little bit on the tighter side. That might miss one. It's gonna catch one and catch the over on the other, but not enough to move it. So Pim will have an opportunity to hit and roll. We can see that this one is sitting on the side. So nice little come in, roll over here, sit up 2 off to the side. Honestly, though, even a hit and roll over this way wouldn't be so terrible. Just got to make sure they don't leave a double. Whoops. Lost the stone. Oh, no. Is that going to miss wide? Oh, wow. How does that happen? Will not be pleased with himself there. Gary will have the opportunity to throw up a guard. Or even roll over and go after that red, roll off a bit to the side. Sabrina making sure she understands the assignment. Sabrina's still learning a bit of things. When someone says, hey, just a little bit, it's not a full step. She's got there. She got there. So probably just a hack weight here. Lighter one, wanting to go out towards the that red one there on our left. This one will take it out. Will that roll out? Anamik getting on the broom to make sure. And gets the job done. I know they would have liked to have sat that shooter. Oops. But the important thing was getting rid of that red. So Nyan curl running out of stones. Then we'll need to hit this one, roll left or right, get somewhere. It's gonna keep it in the house. If they want to score 2, get back into this game, or to level up this game. Staying off it. That is going to curl, and will that have enough to stay in the house? Gary's trying to pull it out as best he can. And fantastic stone there from Pim. Keeps it in the house. And way off to the side where, ooh, they're thinking about going after it. They've got 2 options here. You can see Gary talking about it. Yeah, that's going to be outside of the camera. So they can go after it and try to sit and hit, force a draw to 1, or they can try to come in around behind this one or this one and just get covered. I feel like Sabrina's going to want to draw this one. Probably feel a little bit more comfortable with her draw weight. Gary giving her aim point. This is going wide already. Maybe Gary can drag it down there and up against that red, freeze it down there, or tap this yellow one into the house. That is going to come in and sits down there, but going to be out in the open. So this is an open hit. Open hit for 2 here for Nyan Curl. Nice control weight will be enough. Get it on the nose, maybe slightly on the inside, just so it rolls to the fatter part of the house. Needs to curl, I think. I hope this one's going to be okay. It is going to hit, but catches enough, and that is 2 for Nyan Curl as they get on the board and level this matchup at 2, heading into end number 4. Good stone there by Annemiek. Wonder if we can take a peek over at the other one. Do I have that camera lined up? Let's take a look. Oh, another steal of 3 for Dunschrapke. So looks like right now there's a whole mess of stones in the house there. Him has things set up. Annemiek will be starting things off here in end number 4. We are all knotted up between Polar Partners and Nyan Curl, 2-2. So far, so good in this game. It's been quite a battle back and forth. will be wide of the guard, but will it get down there to where they need it to be? And doing his best to drag it down. We got an overhead of this, and oh, fantastic start. Right there, top of the button. You can't do any better than that. Now, Sabrina has her work cut out for her. Try to come around the other side, do something a little bit better, or freeze on top of it. Use it, corner freeze, do something with it later. Looks like she is following up the same side. This one feels heavy out of her hand, although she does release a little bit on the early side, so that might not be as fast, but Gary just kind of watching behind it, saying this one is just going to go out the back. Tim making sure that one goes nowhere near the stones. It doesn't stick around. They don't want a jammer of anything back there. Ideally, Pim would put one right on the top of that red one, maybe even tap that red one back a little bit, but not too hard. They don't want to get rid of that yellow back there. That actually helps them out. Nope, coming around the other side, take away that right side draw path. Plenty of room around the guard. This one should curl over and settle in nicely on top of that yellow. Two great stones there from Nyan Curl to open things up. Open up this end, putting a lot of pressure on Gary and Sabrina. Gary looking at a run back here, possibly. Nose hit run back should get rid of that center guard and that top red stone. However, the shooter will stay in the same place as the center guard, so maybe slightly off nose will do something. Yeah, possibly come over, hit on this side of the nose, which would send it down to catch on this side of this shot, which would then hit this one off and go there. They'll go there. There's a possibility there, but I don't know if they can really hold that yellow one in. But I think at this point, doesn't really want to give up a steal. Good weight here. Yeah, just going to peel that off. And we've got some people now training over on sheet A, so nobody went to catch the stone that flew over that way. So easy call here for Nyan Curl. Start putting up center guards. They've got two, little protection in the back, or little backing there. So throw up something in the center. That's what I would do if I was their coach. If I'm coaching them, I'm saying that's what we're doing. Weight looks pretty good on this one. Oh, but it took a big turn right there, just in front of that logo. Is that going to stop on the center line? Actually, that's going to carry into the house. Yeah, not ideal for them. Still options for Gary to get in there, so maybe clean things out. Take a look at the overhead here. Yeah, slightly off the nose. Just right about there. Or, sorry, we want to be at yellow, but you guys get the point. And kicking off like that. Little wobble straight out of the hack, but he regains his composure. Does he have a line? That's going to over curl, at least peels out one. Loses the shooter. So at this point, Pim has to look at, Nyan Curl has to decide what they're going to do. I think a steal of one is not bad here. Don't want to get too greedy. They could guard something up in the middle. They could potentially try to pick out that yellow, but then they just leave themselves with a double. Leave a double for polar partners, or at least a place to like hit and roll and get behind a guard. So I would say try to pick out that yellow one with their last stone, but right now throw up a guard. It's going to come down, starting to curl over. Will that go on the center line, trying to hold it straight? And that will, Jesus, that freeze up against it? Does freeze up against it. So, hey, that's better than I was expecting, to be honest. Wasn't looking for that. Thought they might want to guard it, but that's pretty well perfect. It's going to be very hard to get rid of both of those reds without also getting rid of that yellow in the back. So tough decision here for Gary. They could be looking at possibly running this one back. Yeah, problem is that red is touching. Those red, yellow is touching. You're gonna move everything if you hit that. Pretty much no matter where you hit it, unless you're super on the edge. So very, very difficult stone here. But right now, if you're trying to prevent a big steal from Nyan Curl, this is sort of their option. It's gonna hit it, but moves everything out. And leaves the red exposed. I like that hit. You know, they got rid of their own yellow, but they didn't really have much of a choice. Nyan Curl still sitting or shot. Have to decide what they're going to do. They can either guard this up, which I think is a smarter thing to do. Don't get too greedy. You've got that yellow sitting off to the side, but getting rid of that doesn't do any good. It just leaves an open open hit for one. Looking at putting something in the house. Possibly here to be just better than that yellow that's just off screen. But if you see that, that yellow is sitting somewhere just here on the edge of the house. So it just has to be better than that. But too close and you could leave some kind of a double. So safest option, throw in a draw, keep a guard up there. Anywhere on that line, force polar partners into a small draw area. Seems a bit on the heavier side. They definitely do not want a corner freeze. That will make a double possible. Wanted a little bit more of that. Now there is a pocket for the double. We got here, yeah, so coming in like this, just catch this one on the side, get like that. These two go away. Shooter sits in the middle, and then they're scoring two. Right, Hammerstone here in the fourth. Sabrina with the opportunity for a double out to score two. Feels a bit on the lighter side. But as long as it fits into that pocket, they should at least score one. Trying to get this to curl over. It's starting to move, but is that gonna get enough? It's gonna catch and roll off to the side and does not do it. So that is a big steal of two for Nyan Curl. So that completes the poll. The poll is closed. I shifted to the next end a little bit too early, but can't undo it. So thank you everybody who voted in the poll. Let's cross your fingers and see if the votes still play out. Let's take a look. I'll pull up the page and see. Nyan Curl had all of the votes. So we've got some very positive things. Pim obviously being one of the voters. It'd be really funny if he had voted against himself, but that would also be like match fixing or possibly something, so don't think that's what they're going for. So after a pair of steals from Polar Partner to start this match, Nyan Curl answers with a deuce and then a double steal of their own, or steal of two of their own. Annemiek will be starting things off here in end number 5. Nyan Curl leads 4-2. This one coming up light. Don't think it's going to chip that center guard, but I don't know how much weight that's going to have. Oh no, this looks great. That's going to tap right onto the yellow. That carried so much further than I expected. Great opening from Annemiek there. And mixed doubles, this is how easy it is to switch the end in your favor. Take the hammer away from the other team just by getting that first stone in the right spot. puts all the pressure on the hammer team to get in around on top of it. That is the only thing with going a little too deep, is that the other team could just come around on top. But they have to get on top. This one on the wider side. We saw this last night in the fours match, that this side, it just really needed to be tighter to the center line in order for it to curl more. This one just carries deep. Oops. See the League A match over on sheet C, taking their intermission. They have not posted the score for end number 4, but going into end number 4, it was 6-1. Den Schrupkes over Steingood. Meanwhile, here after a slow start, Nyan Curl has taken a 4-2 lead in the 5th end over Polar Partners. Making sure this one gets around the guard. That one's plenty of space. Want this one to sit right there on top of the tee line, or even frozen up against that one. Yet another 4 out of 4 stone. And now it does. There's a double there. You know, we can look at the overhead. Yeah, it's not going to take much. There's a bit of a exposed. You hit it on this side, come over here. This will roll off that way, that will go there. Shooter will go this way. But it does get rid of all of those reds. And at the very worst, you know, they can clean off this yellow guard, peel that off, or red guard, excuse me, peel that off, and then it kind of opens things up in the middle. Not going with the big hit, probably just trying to freeze it up against it. Maybe just tap it to kind of open things up. However, that is going to be just a little bit softer than they would have liked. It doesn't quite move things over that well. And red still sitting 2. They have moved things further behind the tee line. But I think it's an easy decision for Pim here. Really just going to want to put some guard up there, take away that run back. I think the line is more important than the weight here. Don't want it too deep. Want it to curl over some. It's going to be just a little bit on the heavy side. We'll tap it back, but there's the yellow sitting there. So now red's got a good spot sitting in front of the tee line. It's not going to be easy to get rid of any of these reds. You've got all that backing there. If they catch this, oops, let's use the right color. If they catch this one here, that could kind of come in between. That will go there. This one just gets kicked off there. These yellows go away. Not sure it does enough for them to kind of hit too much. Hitting on the side here, maybe they can get this one over the top. Shooter comes over here, possibly catches on this, but that would send that one away. Not a lot of choices here. Not a lot of easy choices, to be said. But at the moment, without a whole lot of options, they got to get rid of these yellows, move some of these reds out of the way. Those yellows all sitting behind the tee line do not help them at all. So if they want to even be able to score on their hammer, they're going to have to clear some things up. Oh, this one is wide. Gary not happy about that. That is just going to nose out their own. And I think it's just going to see another one of the same from Pim. Probably lighter than, a little bit lighter than the one they just threw. They don't need to tap anything back. They don't need anything extra in the house. They are still sitting 3, even with that yellow one biting the edge of the 4-foot. They can go after that one later if they really want to, but that's not really a necessity. So something right there will be perfect. It looks pretty good. Line looks pretty good. Yep, right where they want it to be. Good stone from Pim. Just keep putting the pressure on Polar Partners. Shaping up to be a big end. Now, there is still the draw around. We look over here. Gary can still come around in here and get in this pocket. Maybe it looks a little bit better there. You know, even if he's deep, ends up here, he'd be out counting 2. Let's see which way he goes. Yep, looks like that is what he is setting up for. Wheels on the light side. Yeah, it's starting to curl over. Will that have enough to get down? Gets past the guard, but that's going to start over curling. Catches on there, and whoa, okay, ends up sitting in the shot position. Much better result than I anticipated. I thought that was going to be a bit too light, but kept going. Ticks that red over, gets frozen up against red, so not much they can really do to get rid of it. Yeah, ideally for Nyan curl, something right there. Just frozen up against it. Slightly better. Force Polar Partners to try to come in and do something better. Even have the benefit of being able to be slightly heavy. Most important thing is get on top of that yellow one. Get this to curl over. And that is going to be just a little bit wide, but Fitz's second shot. It's going to be tricky to get that one out of the way. But they do have an option. They can just get into the inside of it. Oops. Come in just a little bit chip here. They've got some backing over there. That'll push this one out of the way. They should be able to sit in for 2. Now you do have a semi-nightmare scenario here. She's a little bit heavy, but inside on her draw, if she hits this there, you can push that, and then the shooter will roll out this way. So there is a margin of error, but not completely fault tolerant. All right, here we go. Sabrina with the hammer here in the final, in the 5th end. This one feels tight, starting to curl over. Yeah, that is just going to over curl. And that will be 1 for Polar Partners. So not quite enough, not the hammer efficiency that they would have wanted. They had an opportunity there, but just a little bit inside and then over curled. And that is going to allow Nyan Curl to retain the lead 4-3 as we head into the 6th. Nyan Curl will have the hammer. Sabrina will be leading things off for Polar Partners here in end number 6. Number 6 of 8 ends. Although either team may concede at any time after this end. One feels tight. This one's going to curl over. Maybe it will go over the guard. Now Gary's trying to sweep it on to tap it. This will push that yellow into the house. So opportunity for Nyan Curl. Annemiek just going to try to draw this one in. Can't really play that yellow one out just yet, but obviously there's now a lot more room to come over and put something else in the house. Top of the 4-foot would be ideal. Another guard's not the worst thing in the world. This one is on the lighter side, so wanting to make sure this one stays on that center line. That is deeper than I thought. That is, I am really getting confused, or not, not reading the speed very well. That actually comes in quite nicely. in behind that guard. Kind of takes away that yellow path just a little, center path just a little bit. Sitting, I believe, 2. Look at that. Very tight there, but I believe the red is slightly closer, but I have been wrong before. Quelle surprise. Just want to say thank you to everybody out there watching. Thanks for joining in. Hope you're enjoying the matchup. I know it's not as lively and as exciting as if when I've got a partner in here, but I do appreciate you guys being in here and watching. Line looks okay. Gonna need to sweep this one to get it down. A little bit on the wide side. Will that have enough to chip over? It does. It ends up above tee. Not quite sure who is shot there. But now there's an opening for Nyan curl to hit and roll underneath. Get rid of that yellow shot. Even a nose hit would be all right. That would put them in second and probably third stones. Nice little log jam above the tee line. Going with the hit here. Meek staying away from it. That is going to get the hit, but I think that's going to jam on the back. No, it does take out the shot stone. However, they are still sitting 1 and 3, and they've got an option to get rid of that. Get rid of that yellow one if they need to. So just a little bit outside. Possibly a little overzealous on the weight there, but scoring area still is quite low. Quite small, excuse me. Not quite sure what the plan is here. Possibly draw. They could go hack weight at that red shot stone. Nope, not going for a hit here. Nope, maybe I was right. Maybe he is a hack weight at that. That is going to go through the house. Just trying to get a chip over. Enemy guiding that one through, so that was a hit, or an intended hit, and unfortunately just didn't get the right line. Options here, they're looking at, okay, guard this up. I like the idea of a hit and roll to here. Gets rid of this red one, or yellow one. And then you end up with this line of guards right there, a line of stones in front of the tee line, sitting 1, 2, and 3. And if these yellow ones and red ones line up, because there's some distortion with the camera, it could even be that this yellow catches this one, but I somehow don't think so. I think that would still go away. do forget that Pim is mic'd up.
Maar dan zijn die twee heel weg. En wij maar op de steen van voor.
But then he also speaking Dutch with his West Flemish accent, and I get lost. So going with the hit here. Gonna be slightly on the outside. That will, ooh, that jams, and now suddenly they've taken out more. Didn't get quite rid of all of the yellows. And unfortunately, now sitting second shot, yellow now sitting second. You do have that red buried behind the guard. There it goes back to the hack, looking at what his options are. Might try that hack weight again. Try to chip out that red shot stone, maybe keep the shooter just sliding over in front of the yellow sitting there at the back right corner of the house. Like there's plenty of room around the guard. Is there going to be enough? Oh, they're drawing in this one in behind, trying to get behind that red. That is going to just sneak by. Great shot from Gary. Right there on the pin. Oops. Half exposed though, so an opportunity. An opening for Nyan curl. Throw kind of a hack weight at it. Just try to chip it out. Shooter could even roll over and jam on that red in the back, yellow in the back. Gonna need to hold this one past the line. Make sure it gets past their red. This one looks really good. Like this one a lot. There's one, there's two. And that is a great stone from Pim. Perfectly placed. Sitting three now. High fives. Thumbs up to himself. I'm thumbing up at it too. He can't see me behind the green screen. That was absolutely perfect shot of the match right there. Polar partners down to their hammer final stone here in the sixth end. Going to try to draw against three. Not an easy thing to do. Try to get it behind cover. They do have the entire 4 foot, so anything even at the back of the 4 foot's okay. That red shot stone is probably about 7 or 8 centimeters above the 4 foot. Very immediately throwing the broom down into the snowplow. Looks like there's plenty of room, but once it starts to go, it's going to go. They're going to hold this one hard. Is that going to be around? That gets around. Oh, what a follow-up from Sabrina. Good stone. Still about halfway exposed, so there is the option. Yeah, it's all really Nyan Curl can do is just kind of throw a hack weight at it, get it out of there, but then they could score 4 out of this. But Sabrina with a nice shot of her own to follow up. Going to make it very difficult for Annemiek here. Right, Annemiek settling in for the hammerstone here in the 6th end. Needing to contact that yellow one. This is tight. Does it have the weight to get down there? Oh, Pim should have stayed on it, maybe? No, she sneaks it by. Oh my, what a response. Back to back to back stones there. What a, wow, what a sequence there. A big score of 4. There we go. Wow, what an end. What a finish to that end. Oh my, I really was questioning whether Sabrina could get it in there. She does, and then Annemiek comes around and squeezes her right by. We thought Pim got off the sweep too early, but no, just papers it by and puts a dagger in the heart of Polar Partners. Polar Partners not opting to play the power play, so staying with standard setup. They trail Nyan Curl by 5 entering end number 7. Annemiek will lead things off here. Gotta wonder how much of an adrenaline rush she had from that last one. Will she overthrow this stone? Does not appear to be too heavy. Pim getting on the broom just to make sure it gets around the guard. That one is curling around nicely. Will that get down there on top? Hey, good follow-up from that previous stone. Good start there. Takes away a lot of that draw into the house. Biting the top of the forefoot. Not shot, but still a good starting position. And that's all Nyan Curl needs to do in this end. They just need to prevent a big end from Polar Partners. And that is the way to start it out. This feels, looked heavy out of her hand, but Gary getting on the sweep. It's definitely wide of the line that she wanted to go. Definitely not heavy. Starting to curl back. Gonna come up just a little bit light. Couple of meters further right next to that red stone would have been better. I'm going to follow Annemiek up the left side. Get over onto the top of it, or even on the side, kind of chipping it over. This feels has much more weight than Anamik's stone, needing it to curl over, but I think it's just a little bit too heavy for that line. Yeah, this one will go out the back with the help of Gary. Nope, we'll stay biting on the back. Hashtag John's wrong. What a surprise. Now that we have 5 stones in play, polar partners can start hitting, but do they hit? Do they need to hit? They are sitting shot, but they do not have an easy path into the button to put more in there that won't expose that yellow in the back, the shot stone. So I think if we see Gary start out to the right, to our right, he'll be going to tap that yellow one through, maybe try to get that red one exposed. It looks like he's going out to the left, so they're going to try to draw in around that side. Plenty of room around that top guard, but is there enough weight? Coming up just a little bit short of the house. Now, Anamik and Pim have a decision to make. They've got to cover up one of those yellows, I think. They have 3 options. Let's put some circles on the board here. Guard here, or tap this one back to run out the red, or run out the yellow. Up by 4, they don't necessarily need to run out that yellow, but it's certainly nice to kind of take that scoring opportunity away from polar partners. As you can see, that red one is quite high above the screen, so that's a long run back, and you got to get it exactly on the nose. So I don't think we're going to be seeing that one. That's the risk reward isn't that good. And you run the risk of clearing out the center and running your stone out of there at second shot. So shouldn't do any favors for the other team. So I think you have to guard up the stone that Gary just threw. That is the closest, shortest run back. So playing a hit here. Nose hit's not the worst, but you're just going to do the work for Gary. And or you get that kind of run back and get rid of the shot, move things around, open it up. It's an interesting shot to say the least. Not the call I would have made, not the call I think they were going for. I think just a little bit on the outside. I think they just want a nose hit on the yellow. But little bonus effect of getting rid of that shot stone on the back of the forefoot. Leaves a potential double takeout here with these yellows on the left. Just a nose hit here should get rid of this one and that one. This feels wide and on the heavy side. Yep, that is just going to kind of sail through the house and chips that other one out. Nope, still sitting on the back line there. So yeah, Pim Dynamique looking at this double here. I think that would be the ideal situation. Take out as many yellow stones from scoring as possible. Don't need to worry about scoring themselves. Although I'm not 100% sure that this yellow, the run back stone doesn't jam over there. Even getting rid of one would be a good idea here. There's one, jams it back. Sitting behind the guard, but I don't hate it. Now it does stay biting in the back. You can look at that overhead. I think that yellow one is just nibbling the back, so still something to be dealt with. I mean, they can get rid of this red over on the corner. But then there's an open draw to the middle. There's a tap back. So not sure that red one out to the side is something to worry about till the last stone. Plenty of room, but is that too light? And that is. So that is going to come up short. Gary not pleased with there, looking at throwing his broom like a javelin, but thinks better of it. Fairly straightforward decision here. Run this back. Get rid of this yellow. Keep two in the house and force polar partners to draw for one. See how my stats are working tonight. Annemiek going 67 overall tonight. Playing fairly good. This one a little bit on the light side. But if that can get to shot position behind the guard, and that's what it looks like it is. You're going to try to sweep this one deep. Try to get something in play. But that is one way to close down the scoring area. Now there's plenty of room to draw around that top guard there. And if they can tap this one, I keep forgetting to switch colors. Tap this one off, they can still score two. They just have to get it to the back of the house. Doesn't have to go completely out. Easier said than done. And here we have Sabrina, final stone here in the 7th end. Drawing to stay alive. Gary working this. It feels like it's on the light side, and it is. That's going to come up short. That will be a steal of 1. And that is Handshakes. After a strong start from Polar Partners with a couple of steals, Nyan Curl came back. That big end of 4. Steal here in the last. And that will give them a 9-3 victory. Good job there from Pim and Annemiek. We're going to come back in there, and that's also a good job for everybody else. I can actually mark this as final. There we go. And we will come back into the booth. Look at that, Pim putting up the final X. Leaving all the stones. There we go. Trying for the pop. Didn't quite work, but good job to Pim and Annemiek. We'll come back here. I'll say goodbye. So, I was right. I picked Polar Partners. Hey, I got a point, but Pim probably also would have, so it doesn't count for not actually picking against each other. Congratulations to everybody who picked Polar Partner, or not Polar Partners, Nyan Curl, excuse me, in the poll. That was everybody. You guys all got your points. Congratulations. Thank everybody for tuning in. If you really like this, I'm not sure I like doing this alone. It's a little lonely, but lots of things, lots of buttons, but you know, hey, sometimes you got to work with what you've got. I love doing this. I'm happy to be here. Thank you all for joining. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know, if you want to support us in more ways than just watching, we do have the Curdia shop where we've got some branded merchandise. Oh, thank you, Felipe. Thanks for stopping in. I saw you had your vote on in there as well. Congratulations. But that's going to be it for me here on this Saturday night. I've got another match tomorrow, Take Out Tigers. So far at this point, I'm going to be broadcasting it alone, but I'm going to see if I can try to find a partner to make it a little more interesting for all of you. So until then, bye now.